Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So today, thank you very much to the people who sent me this article, and I saw this, and of course, we have to point it out because Megan was caught in yet another lie. I mean, how many lies? Is anybody keeping count? It's impossible, right? Every time she opens her mouth. Anyway, so this is about Megan claiming that people in South Africa cheered her on like they cheered Nelson Mandela. And then the only South African Lion King actor said he's never met Meghan Markle, and her claims that she was compared to after her claims that she was compared to Nelson Mandela. It says Dr. John Connie, who voiced Rafiki in the Disney's remake of The Lion King, so that Megan must be misremembering what happened. Okay, because Megan claimed that he told her this, that everybody in South Africa cheered when she married Harry. And he's saying she must have misremembered. Recollections vary. Recollections are varying again. Megan claimed in her bombshell interview with US mag The Cut, which I haven't read yet, but I've heard plenty about it. A lot of people have been writing about it. That girl is just so cray-cray, over the top. I heard she threatened the royal family and that. I may go over it one day, but anyways, for now, I'll focus on this lie. So she said in that interview in The Cut that a, quote, male South African actor at the film's London premiere in 2019 compared her marrying into the royal family to Mandela's historic release from prison in 1990. So Megan's actually claiming there's another reason why South Africa hates her guts right now. She's actually claiming, first of all, you can tell it's a lie because she says, a male South African actor told me. Like, no, no. If somebody really told you that, you would remember their name. Okay. You'd say, oh, this man, I forget his name now. You would be able to find out what it was if you wanted to. Uh, so, yeah. But she didn't name Dr. Connie. He claims, Dr. Connie, that he is the only male South African cast member in The Lion King and that he wasn't at the premiere. So isn't that interesting? Wow, Megan's going to do her research. This is the problem with liars. They don't do their research. You have to be phenomenally smart to lie and get away with it. And even then, you're still going to get caught. Just ask Dr. Fauci, right? Not that he's phenomenally smart, but you know what I mean. Liars always get caught up. And so Megan doesn't do her research to find out, oh, there's only one male South African on the set of Disney's Lion King. I'm sure she was assuming there were all kinds of male South Africans on the set. Nope. And the one male South African didn't on the set of Disney did not go to the premiere that Megan's talking about. Maybe she was confusing Beyonce with maybe Megan's outing Beyonce as male. I don't know. I heard Beyonce did fake a pregnancy like Megan, where she sat down, her belly flopped around. They're all witches, just saying. Anyways, so Dr. Connie, a friend of the first, also happens to be a friend of the first black leader of South Africa, said Megan had made a, quote, faux pas, adding that her claims were, quote, baffling. And he said he would never have made the comparison between Megan and Mandela. He told the Mail, quote, I have never met Meghan Markle. This seems like something of a faux pas by her. Why don't they just call her what she is? A freaking liar. Come on now. Stop being so damn polite. This witch is lying left and right. Call her out. Tell it what she really is. Stop leaving it to us to do it all the time. Quote, I have never met the Duchess at all. Okay, he's trying to be polite here, I guess. He doesn't want to start a witch fest with her. Quote, I have never met the Duchess at all. I am the only South African member of the cast, and I did not attend the premiere in London. In an interview with The Cut, Meghan described the moment a South African cast member compared her 2018 wedding to Prince Harry with the anti-apartheid leader's walk to freedom. She said, quote, "He said, I just need you to know when you married into this family, we rejoiced in the streets with the same way we did when Mandela was freed from prison." Wow. Megan is really crazy, isn't she? But Dr. Connie said he attended the Hollywood premiere, but was not there in the West End. He added, quote, "The only South African was me playing Rafiki, and I did not go to the opening at Leicester, I'm gonna say that right, Leicester Square, and I didn't have the time to do that. It just may be a misremembering on Megan's side." Megan's misremembering again. Quote, "It's baffling to me. I am the only South African in the cast." Mandela was the hero of the apartheid struggle who almost single-handedly laid the foundation of a free South Africa. He spent 26 years in jail and became the nation's first black president, won the Nobel Peace Prize, and is one of the most revered figures of the 20th century. The Rafiki actor didn't believe Meghan's comment was an insult, but said she must have been, quote, "mixed up." He claimed the Sussex's big day was, quote, "no big deal" in South Africa, a country without any link to the royal wedding. The South African star said, quote, "In my memory, nobody would have known when she got married, when or what. We had no South African link to the wedding or her marrying Harry. I am truly surprised by this. For me, it is a non-event, the whole thing." Yeah, that basically describes Harry and Meghan's existence, but she blows it up with her PR. In comparison, Dr. Connie remembered history being made by Mandela's release 3 decades ago. Quote, "The world stopped on February 11th, 1990, he said, when the gates of Pollsmoor prison opened and the entire South African nation, the entire African continent, and the world were glued." He added, "There, that was a world event. Surely Miss Meghan or whatever marrying into the royalty cannot in any way be spoken in the same breath or even the same sentence as that moment." Okay, so he's pointing out how insulting it is, what she's doing. In her delirium, her grandiose narcissist grandiosity, she's actually trying to inflate her wedding day with such a momentous occasion. It's very insulting. Quote, "It lives in our memories forever to the world. It's a kind of, where were you when JFK was shot? Where were you when Nelson Mandela was released? You can't really say where you were when Meghan married Harry." Dr. Connie added, "I really wouldn't want to call it an insult. It must be a faux pas. There is something Meghan is mixing up with." The Lion King actor's confusion follows the interview's backlash yesterday from the Mandela family itself. The leader's grandson has slammed Meghan Markle for comparing herself to the freedom fighter, calling the comment, quote, "surprising." Speaking to Mail Online, oh, I can't say his name, Zwelivli, Zwelivlile, sorry, I can't say it. Mandela said, Madiba's celebration was based on overcoming 350 years of colonialism with 60 years of a brutal apartheid regime in South Africa, so it cannot be equated as the same. The freedom fighter's grandson then issued advice to Meghan, telling her that what she needs to do if she wants to compare herself to the likes of an apartheid hero. The younger Mandela told The Times that the Duchess of Sussex needs to, quote, "get out there and help others." Yeah, Meghan, be of service. you, know, you and your Sussex squad always claim you're of service. Yeah, get out there and be of service. The day before, The Sun columnist Piers Morgan also lashed out at Meghan's comments. He said, quote, "Even by Markle standards, this is revoltingly self-aggrandizing, disingenuous, and hypocritical load of royal bashing tosh. The Mandela anecdote alone had me gagging. How dare she use her title to keep trashing the institution that gave it to her? Shameful, shameless, and shameful. Yeah, Megan, were you shameful or shameless? I was like that Oprah quote. Were you silent or silenced? Were you shameful or shameless? The uproar also comes as Meghan was blasted for apparently suggesting the British press called her children the N word. Oh, she goes even further now. So, again, with the racism. Meghan told the Cut's Alison Davis she resented allowing pictures of Archie 3 and Lilibet 1 to be circulated in the media. Yeah, the one picture she's released, crying out loud. The article goes on to imply her reasoning is down to racist language, appearing to suggest the press had used the N-word to refer to her children. Meghan explained, quote, "There's literally a structure by which if you want to release photos of your child as a member of the family, you first have to give them to the Royal Rota." Well, not anymore. You haven't been doing that, and you right from the beginning, Meghan fought the Royal Rota and refused to use it. She's been refusing to use Royal Rota since day one. So why is she bringing it up now? Like suddenly she has to use it. She hasn't used Royal Rota ever. When she did the Megxit, she renounced to herself on Instagram. She didn't go through the Royal Rota. She never did. Lying witch. Another lie she's telling. Why would I give the very people that were calling my children the N-word a photo of my child before I can share it with the people that love my child? It's unclear who Meghan was referring to when she said people. Also now, so first she accused the royal family of using the N-word or being racist, and now she's accusing all the royal reporters. She's getting more and more paranoid, isn't she? She's more and more crazy. And again, with the race baiting, what Meghan's trying to do, obviously. Wow, she's really nuts. All right, so another thing I want to point out that so this comment Meghan makes comparing herself to Nelson Mandela and claiming that South Africans cheered in the streets with her wedding, just like they cheered Nelson Mandela. Well, don't forget, it wasn't that long ago, Prince Harry went to the UN to speak to an empty room, right? And this was only in July 18th, so it was just last month. And again, this was Nelson Mandela Day, and everybody was saying, why Harry? Why is Harry speaking about Nelson Mandela? And Harry said, well, my mom has a picture with Nelson that hangs on my wall. That's why. And this is where Harry really insulted everybody, insulted the U.S., brought up U.S. politics, brought up a bunch. He brought up the usual Agenda 30 from the World Economic Forum, well, child, all the globalists, the usual topics of climate change and et cetera, et cetera. And so he was attacked for that. And I think that Nelson Mandela's grandson came out again when Harry was comparing himself to Nelson Mandela here. Or what did Harry compare Nelson Mandela again? He was comparing his leaving the royal family to Nelson Mandela getting out of prison. So just last month, Harry was comparing himself to Nelson Mandela on Nelson Mandela Day. Yeah. And he quoted Nelson Mandela, to freedom fighter, hope is what a life belt is to a swimmer, a guarantee that one will keep afloat and free from danger. Hmm. Yeah. So, wow. So what is the deal here? I want to know, why is Harry going speaking in the UN General Assembly celebrating Nelson Mandela International Day and comparing his leaving the royal family with Nelson Mandela? And then Meghan does the same thing with her recent cut interview that she gave, which was just full of veiled threats and paranoia and trying to stir up, racism agenda as she constantly wears her black and white clothes. I'm so glad. Thank you to this man for coming out, coming forward. Dr. John Connie, thank you for him coming out and speaking the truth. Because that's, you've got to expose these lies. You can't let her get away with this. because this is all they do: lie, 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 just like the mainstream media, lie, lie, lie. Gotta expose it. I mean, Megan's, for her to make that lie and say, "Oh, people in South Africa, they were so happy Harry and I married." She's really trying to rewrite history. She's creating history here with her PR, so that if nobody challenges it, nobody comes out and says, "No, that's a lie." This would go down in history, and like kids looking back would believe it. They might believe it because she's talking to young people. She's talking to one young leader soon. She's talking to young people again. And this witch is nothing but full of lies. She is completely out of touch with reality. And this is what happens when you lie so much and you try to create your own reality. You just get crazier and crazier. I mean, she's really, her and Harry are really getting more and more out of touch with reality here. And their psychosis is showing more and more. And then the fact that they would make such blatant lies that are so easy to prove, I mean, so are they, what's going on here, really? Let's find out. Harry and Meghan just going insane, more and more insane, or was there some magical thing about this? We all know, trying to align herself with the world leader, South African world leader like this. Or, just is this just a grandiose thing? Was it a spur of the moment thing? She's competing with Harry because Harry spoke on this Nelson Mandela International Day. What is it with the past 2 months now? Nelson Mandela, Nelson Mandela, Nelson Mandela. It's like she's trying to align herself in the PR at least, which is could be a very powerful thing from a magical PR perspective. You're putting it in the collective unconscious, right? Just by mentioning it, Harry doing a speech, and then she's talking about it. On some level, people, even those who are not paying close attention, who just see the headlines, will start to unconsciously associate them with Nelson Mandela, the freedom fighter. And then Harry and Meghan's whole spiel is, "We freed ourselves from the clutches of the evil royal family. We escaped the palace," right? Is it just some PR magic she's trying to do? Let's find out. Why is Meghan and Harry lying about South Africa and a connection with Nelson Mandela? Why are they doing that? And how's Meghan feeling now? How's Meghan really see Nelson Mandela? Let's find out what's going on here. So I'm going to take a look. I've already shuffled the cards, and I am using the Fenestra Tarot, a very pretty deck. And we'll take a look. What's going on here? What's Meghan and Harry? Particularly Meghan. I'm looking at Meghan with this latest quote from The Cut, which it seems like, oof, that article was full of so many lies and veiled threats. It's unbelievable. So anyways, let's take a look. Let's focus on this Nelson Mandela lie, the South African lie that Meghan told about South Africa, the latest one anyways. There's so many lies. Let's find out, what was Meghan thinking? Why did she do that? Why did she make up that lie about South Africa? Let's see. What the heck? What is that crazy witch thinking? Crazy as a fox. Is she crazy or crazy as a fox? Where's the general attitude? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm getting crazy as a fox vibes with this. Five of Swords. Trickery, deceit, being a nasty, being manipulative. Is Meghan being manipulative with her word salad there? You see there's people in the background always being sad. Meghan revels in that, but of course it's secretive. She's not coming out directly. I'm getting an indirect attack here. Now it could be at the royal family. It could be that she's reminding the royal family, like, hey, don't forget I'm, half black and, or a quarter black and, I'll I'll accuse you of racism if you don't give me more money or something. But there's some nastiness here, definite trickery, deceit. I mean, we know she lied, but why did she lie? It looks like she was trying to threaten someone, bully someone with this environment of it. Page of Cups reversed, which is, false information, but also someone who's been drinking too much, someone who's been, too much, doing something too much. And it also could just in general be about, losing touch with reality, because this is a card that's very creative when it's upright, creative, but reversed is like just can be lying your butt off or just creating shizzle storms and just creating craziness. So the Five of Swords and this creating in a crazy way. So I'm getting that in her crazy mind, I don't know, she must have been drinking. I wonder, was she drinking in that interview? Was she like roséing all day again? Megan loves that rosé. I think she had too many rosés that days. Too much rosé that day. And she may have been drinking too much, I'm getting here with that, and that she decided to try to come up with a story. She was sending a message to somebody, because the swords, I'm getting a message here. She was being strategic, and she was saying, take that. So take your pick who she was trying to send a message to. Well, let's see. What was the bottom of it all? Page of Wands. Again, more information, page and page. So this was important to her. I mean, obviously it always is when she puts out something in the media. And she just feels like she has the right to put out. Oh, and it's interesting. Let me just point out, I forgot to point out something real quick about this article, is that about Harry. He actually said in his speech, listen to this. He said, we're living through a pandemic that continues to ravage communities in every corner of the globe. Climate change wreaking havoc on our planet. The most vulnerable suffering, and a few weaponizing lies and disinformation at the expense of the many. So Harry was complaining that disinformation is on the same level as a pandemic and climate crisis, right? Climate change. He puts those all three on the same level, the same. Now who's spreading that disinformation, Harry? Do tell. Oh, you and your wife. That's right. So that Nelson Mandela day where he's complaining about misinformation, weaponizing lies. Okay, so this is Megan. That's the perfect phrase for what I'm looking at in Megan's reading here. She's using weaponized. These are weaponized lies. This is perfect. Thank you, Harry. That's what Megan was doing here, a weaponized lie, weaponized craziness, crazy lies. That's it. That's it. So, yeah. So they both spread misinformation as they complain about misinformation, and Harry works at the Aspen Institute for George Soros as the chief of misinformation. I gotta bring that up again because this is so pertinent as they lie left and right, and they're proven liars again and again and again. So yeah, so Megan just thought she could just say whatever she wanted to cut, and they're gonna listen to her. This is what I have to say. She had a message to send. Page and page, I'm getting message. She had a message to send, but of course, I don't know. She's just cray than usual, or maybe she's just getting, maybe they both have dementia or something. I don't know what triggered her to do this. Oh, 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 devil reversed. I can take reverse as like secretive, and also this can be drug addiction, alcohol addiction. Maybe she didn't drink that day because I do have it reversed. So that could be that she's on the wagon and that made her crazier. Because if you're a heavy drinker or whatever, whatever you're doing, and you suddenly stop because you need to appear sober for an interview with Cut Magazine, um, your mind is still warped. It takes a while to detox, right? That's why you have to go to rehab and detox properly and slowly, right? Megan, I think so. This could be that Megan like went cold turkey for this interview and it made her crazier. Yeah. Because she has all planned out. Now, another thing I could see here too as well is I was thinking there's some kind of hoodoo voodoo involved in this. Secretively, that she's again trying to align herself with Nelson Mandela, right? So it could be that as well. Wow. Yeah, she's messed up. I mean, obviously, and the cards are just screaming it. I mean, she's not in reality. She's like possessed possibly again by someone else. New demon. She's out of her mind. What was she expecting by comparing her wedding? She always has to bring up her wedding, and her Sussex squads are always 4 years later, and every day they're posting pictures of the wedding, right? Oh, 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 Six of Swords reversed. She knew this would get back to the royal fam, that's for sure. And she didn't expect this to get to South Africa. She didn't really think they'd pay attention. She didn't expect people to really, I mean, she knew people would pay attention, but she didn't really think that they would say anything. And this was, I think, a dig at to the royal fam. Swords again. But again, she's in altered states of mind. I mean, she's not sane, this woman. And she may have been being spoken to by an evil spirit here too, as well. I kind of get. I'm just saying. My, oh my, oh my, oh my. Not good. Not good. In her warped thinking, she thought she was going to be. I think this was part of another reminding the royal family that she's more related to Africa than them, right? Is the only thing. Because she also brings up the N word with the royal reporters. I mean, she's obsessed with race, right? Everything's about race now. If you're part of the progressive Marxist communists, BLM, globalist tyranny, they want everybody to obsess about race and everything's about race and da da da. So she's obsessing herself. So what was she afraid of or not want by bringing this up? Oh, Ace of Cups. Very religious card. Happiness. She doesn't want anyone to be happy. She wanted to make sure that people are finally feeling some relief after a couple of years of mis and disinformation and stress and worry. And now things seem to be, people are getting more hopeful about the future and getting back to normal, no matter what certain individuals may say, getting back to normal. And she doesn't want that. She doesn't want you to be happy, and she certainly doesn't want, it's a spiritual card. You see the cross. She doesn't want the good guys to win, that's for sure. Because Megan's on the wrong side of history and on the wrong playing for the wrong team. This is Megan's team over here with Meghan and Harry. They don't want the spiritual, the positive, right? Right. She doesn't want the good guys to win. So you can look at this as kind of getting a religious vibe here. She doesn't want that. She says, "Oh, this is upright." Excuse me. She doesn't want that. No happiness for you, and she wants the devil to win over God, is what she wants. Her and her buddies. So what is she hoping for by bringing up, comparing her wedding to Nelson Mandela? World reversed. So she, I think she feels like she's not celebrated enough and that she hasn't gotten, she feels like everyone should be asking her about the wedding or talking about it and the celebration. Because in this world, you see how she's celebrating, like, yay, celebration around the world. And she thought she was being clever with this comment. Like, she thought it would fly under the radar. Yeah, I don't think she expected. We're going to see how she reacted when Dr. Connie comes out. But I see this as an excess of, right? So this is her wedding. This is her wedding, as we all know, is the only reason Meghan has a platform. The only reason you know who Meghan is, the only reason anyone's talking about her is because she married Harry. And the royal family took her in and mistakenly took her in and gave her a title. So she, that day was the highlight of her existence, right? It's all been downhill since there. And but she wants to go back to that. Because remember when she got married and nobody knew anything about her and she was a breath of fresh air and, because we didn't know all that behind the scenes stories of her, um, screaming at the staff and being a bully and stalking Catherine and et cetera, et cetera. We didn't know about her yet. All we knew is that Harry was getting married, celebrate. She's so desperate to bring that back. And if she can't bring it back, she wants to bring it up again and again. And that's why her and her Sussex squad always post it, because that was the biggest day of her life. And she wants to bring that back. She is desperately trying to bring this type of coverage back, but you could never get it back, because now everybody knows about her. Even her most ardent supporters are turning on her. But that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to bring back you can't criticize me, we're Harry and I are in love, and you know what? We're just gonna get married again. Yeah, take that. So how does Meghan see Nelson Mandela really? Is she so influenced by him? Oh, two of swords reverse. She likes plagiarizing him for sure. But minor arcana, she does not give a hoot about Nelson Mandela. I'll tell you that right now. And she just likes taking the idea, him and her and Harry, because don't forget, there's a connection of pictures and visits between Princess Diana or Diana, Princess of Wales, and Nelson Mandela. So that's, again, we're going back to the Diana obsession here, really, because you see, she has no idea. Yeah, Megan's crazy, Moon crazy, reversed. I mean, my first impression is that she's stealing his idea, the idea of him, and stealing his quotes. I'm sure if you look around, she's going to be stealing his quotes as she always does. She plagiarizes and copies. So she's trying to copy his story and transpose it on herself with the Two of Swords, and she thinks she's being clever about it. Right. So it's all very strategic. I'm getting a lot of swords here. This is all everything she says. Said it once, I'll say it again. She's very controlling. Everything she says, how she says it. There's particular reasons for it. Right. So this is, just trying to hijack his name with Harry, trying to align it with themselves because Harry and Meghan think or claim that they're continuing Diana's legacy, and so this all ties together, and that's why she's doing it. She couldn't give a hoot about Nelson Mandela. She couldn't care less. Not really. No, this minor arcana reversed. But again, she's not even thinking straight. She's strung out over here, man. She's not on planet Earth. Okay, I don't think she ever has been, really. So how did she feel when Dr. Connie came out, the one male South African on the set of Disney? How did she feel? Ooh. Oh, she wanted to pay him off. This was a surprise to her. We got an ace. So she was very surprised by this new information. And she's thinking, oh, how can I pay? I think she tried to buy him off, perhaps. Or thinking about it. She's so far, she's so out of touch. Somehow or this could also be a new opportunity here for herself in somehow, I don't know. I'll have to look at that a little more. Something new here. That is a big story, and she always loves being written about, even if it's controversial. So I think that, she'll twist it somehow. Like she did the lie about her sister about being an only child. She'll say it felt like an only child. And so she'll probably twist the lie around again. This is, she loves the attention. She loves something new that she can use to tr turn around again. And she's going to probably say, oh, did I say a South African at the Disney premiere? I meant someone who flew in from South Africa, but they were actually British. Yeah, I mean, she'll come up with something. Don't worry. Liar. She's a pathological liar. She'll create a new lie. And in the long run, how's it going to go for her? Chariot. Yeah. It's also part of her political ambitions. Obviously, politics with this and ramming forward with her and Harry with her agenda, trying to make herself a political person and getting what she wants. Always. I just want to look into her reaction here because I'm kind of surprised at her reaction to Dr. Connie coming out. Now, the first thing I thought was she's going to pay him off big time. She might still do it to shut him up because I'm also getting the idea of Harry's book. This whole Nelson Mandela comparisons might have to do with Harry's book somehow. Like, Harry writes about Nelson Mandela with his mother, I'm sure, and of course, Harry does love South Africa. Oh, and Harry pretended to go to South Africa, and he apparently didn't, right? But what the heck is with Harry and Meghan in South Africa and Nelson Mandela? My God, there is something very shady going on here, something very evil. There's something very evil with her cabal going on here. I mean, I know we all say Meghan gets the devil, but I don't get the devil with Meghan that often. Like this must be especially evil what she's doing, is all I'm thinking. She's especially, crazy, the two of them. So what's this? What is this about? This ace? Why am I getting Ace of Coins for Megan's reaction? Is it about a book? She thinks this is gonna work out with Harry's book somehow. This commotion. Is she like paying him off? My first thought was she was gonna pay him off. Harry, Hermit reverse. Megan likes it because she knows this is overshadowing Harry's speech to the UN. Yeah, look at that. She's happy about it. She's like, yeah, yeah. She wanted to make Harry look bad, or make it worse for Harry with South Africa. She doesn't like that Harry. She now somebody else suggested this. It just came to my mind. I saw a comment somewhere where somebody said, because Harry talked about South Africa and how it's where him and took Meghan, and where they found out they were soulmates, and how he loves it there, blah blah blah. Even though he probably really didn't go, and he was allegedly president of the Park Association, or whatever it's called. So Meghan wanted to ruin that for Harry. So this is like the wedding card. Just be the wedding, making things worse for Harry and his book. Yeah, something going on here. So I think that she's trying to steal Harry's thunder, perhaps, in a way, because his book is coming out, and Harry's going to get all kinds of PR. And you know how competitive Meghan is, and how much she hates seeing somebody else. And remember, in the beginning of the year, Harry and Meghan said, all right, they made an announcement and said they were going to be doing separate things this year. They're not going to do things together, but separately. But they were both at the UN, even though Meghan uh, somewhat kept a low profile, even though she was in pictures there, posing like sitting like Princess Diana there. So now this was all just Meghan, of course, what she was doing here with the cut and with her podcast. So yeah, she wanted to ruin everything for Harry here somehow. She knew it would affect his relationship with South Africa, and I also think she's going to bribe that guy. I think she's going to say, make him go quiet, or something. But she's happy about this. She wants to make it more difficult for Harry to go to South Africa. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Because this was really, she had really malevolent intentions here. The Five of Swords, the first card, is like a very evil card. This is somebody trying to pull something over on someone and really hurt them. And of course, it's inspired by the devil, by her evil group, her cabal. So this is all very intentional. I don't think she was as drugged out. I mean, she is crazy, but I think she is crazy AF. And she could have been drinking too much rosé, but I think it was more that she's under, control, MK Ultra or demon control, whatever you want to call it. She wanted to make it difficult for Harry to go back to, because it's like foreign. Six of Swords can be about foreign, traveling to foreign places, and she doesn't want Harry to be able to travel there and go there and stay there. She wants to make it more difficult for him. So she liked this. She purposely lied about South Africa. She couldn't give a rat's, patootie about Nelson Mandela. She wanted to take away Harry's inspiration, happiness, positive spirituality here, because Nelson Mandela is a very positive, right? It's like what BLM did to Martin Luther King, right? They totally disrespect Martin Luther King, and on Martin Luther King Day, BLM were doing that raunchy dancing, putting their butts in the camera. They weren't doing anything to celebrate him because they don't like Martin Luther King, because he's Christian and he's for America, and BLM is communist and anti-American, anti-freedom. So I'm getting the same kind of vibe here. I don't know where I was going with this, but I do know Meghan is very much evil, and she's like trying to make things worse for Harry with South Africa here, and the royal family in general. I think just in general. Yeah, this is her. She's pushing her agenda here. She wants Harry to be her whipping boy to get her in office. She needs him. Harry is her, her ticket to keep her relevant, right? Because as others were saying, if Meghan's title is taken away as well, she would go from being Duchess Dumbarton to being Mrs. Princess Henry, and she wants that princess title too. Possibly, it could also be part of this, but yeah, this is part of her agenda. She wants to make it impossible for Harry to be able to relocate to South Africa, stay there, or have any peace. And she does want to relive. She does want to relive her wedding. She wants people talking about her wedding. She wants to relive that magnificent moment of magic that she had, where she was like the most powerful woman in the world for a little while. Where she was untouchable, right? Where she was literally on top of the world for a while. She wants that back. So, again, bringing up her wedding celebration, wanting to get married a second time. This is all about keeping Harry in line and keeping Harry down. Him and his book, because he's got that book coming up. It's going to be very destructive. And this book is, yeah, to be full of lies, just like everything else they do. So, Mr. and Mrs. the Duke and Duchess of Disinformation. That is what they are for sure. Meghan's a mess, but she's evil as hell, as we all know, which is why she's getting into politics. That's all the Satanists go to politics. All right, so that is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. If so, please like and subscribe. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye bye.